The battle for the White House.
The will of the people should prevail.
5 weeks of bitter ballot disputes.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Dueling lawsuits.
Count the vote.
Angry protests. And divisive court decisions.
Where's the federal question here?
Now, the battle is finally over.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. Continuing coverage of Campaign 2000, the final decision.
Good evening. Texas Governor George Bush tonight will assume the mantle and the honor of President-elect. This comes 24 hours after a sharply split and some say politically and ideologically motivated U.S. Supreme Court ended Vice President Gore's contest of the Florida election and, in effect, handed the presidency to Bush. Vice President Gore will address the nation this evening to ask the nation to unite behind the new president. Then Bush will deliver an address of his own, reaching out to Democrats and independents. Bush is mindful that he lost the national vote, barely won in Florida, in the Electoral College, and decisively in the U.S. Supreme Court. First, about the Gore speech tonight, CBS's John Roberts has a preview. John?
Dan, sources tell CBS News that in crafting tonight's address to the nation, the vice president reviewed both Washington's farewell to the troops and Thomas Jefferson's inaugural address, in which he reached out across party lines to heal the bitter divisions of the 1800 election. Tonight's address will be statesmanlike, we're told, as Al Gore seeks to heal the bitter divisions that have marked the past 5 weeks. The vice president's legal team searched through the night, looking for some ray of hope in the Supreme Court ruling. This morning, an exhausted David Boies, Gore's lead attorney, one of the voices in a unanimous decision to give up the fight.
Obviously, whenever a court comes out with a result that is not the result that you would have preferred, you're disappointed.
Democrats, who at times had voiced concerns about how far Gore would go, were today united in praise.
We're very proud of Al Gore and how he and his team handled these last 5 weeks.
The theme of tonight's address will be unity. The vice president will urge Democrats, Republicans, and independents to reach across party lines, to bring the country together. And he will again stand up for the central theme of his post-election battle, the principle of one person, one vote. But the talk is not all of conciliation. In Tallahassee, demonstrators denounced the Supreme Court decision, sentiments echoed by Gore staffers who called the ruling highly partisan. The vice president won't attack the court, but will give support to those thoughts tonight.
It seems to me as though the first shots of the midterm election campaign are being fired here.
Well, the first shots were fired when George Bush tried to stop having votes counted. Bedrock principle of democracy.
Loyal Democrats called on Gore to not concede, but merely withdraw, make the point that because not all the votes were counted, no one really won, therefore he didn't really lose. On that front, another presidential aspirant offered this advice.
You accept defeat. You're gracious about it. You can still have private thoughts about it. And maybe even your friends can have private thoughts about it, but you tamp down the criticism.
Prior to tonight's address, the vice president is expected to call the Texas governor and tell him for the second time that he is dropping out. After his speech, the official process of transition will begin with a phone call from President Clinton inviting the Texas governor up to Washington to pay a courtesy visit on the White House that will be his home for the next 4 years. Dan?
John Roberts. Now over to Bill Whitaker in Austin, Texas, covering the man who apparently will become our 43rd president. Bill, what should we be looking for in Governor Bush's address to the nation tonight?
Dan, with the country torn, Governor Bush, like the vice president, will speak tonight of unity. He will speak these words: Americans share hopes and goals and values far more important than any political disagreement. One aide said Bush is fully aware of the historic significance of his speech tonight. Another said he knows it's the most important speech of his life. But you'd never know it watching him today. The soon-to-be president-elect didn't seem to be carrying the weight of the world. In fact, he didn't seem to have a care in the world.
Nice to see you all.
But despite his nonchalance, Bush has told friends he knows the task ahead is daunting. So he'll start tonight by being conciliatory. Missouri Congressman Roy Blunt is his friend and advisor.
He'll show a lot of appreciation for the closeness of the race. I expect his tone to be personal, to be humble, Here's a guy who's shown great empathy over the last several days for the vice president and a sense of understanding what he and his family were going through.
He campaigned as a sunny unifier. He takes office under an ominous cloud of division, a cloud he recently told CBS 60 Minutes 2 he's confident he can dispel.
This election has happened for a reason, I think. And I think the reason is to show people that divisiveness is not best for America, that we ought to come together. And so I'm very optimistic about our chances to do what's right for the country.
It seems like wishful thinking, but tonight he'll speak in the Texas House, where he boasts he got along with Texas Democrats. He predicts he'll do the same in Washington. Longtime observers aren't so sure.
And that's going to be his instinct, to work with those Democrats in Congress because he's been successful. The experience here is not at all like what he's going to see in Washington, where partisanship and the sort of the fractious atmosphere based on party is much more extreme than it ever has been in his experience here in Texas.
Now, Bush is making plans to visit Washington, D.C. He has said he hopes to meet with Vice President Al Gore and with President Bill Clinton. Dan?
Bill Whitaker. CBS News will bring you live coverage of Vice President Gore's address to the nation at 9 Eastern Time, followed by the address by President-elect Bush at 10 Eastern Time tonight. The end of this campaign was set by the first U.S. Supreme Court ruling ever to decide a presidential election. It was complicated, fractured, and the dissenting language was so bitter even a lawyer could not interpret it any other way. CBS's Bob Schieffer has the context of the ruling and its impact. Bob?
Dan, when the court blocked the recount, it gave the presidency to Bush, but the 5-4 decision did nothing to bridge the partisan divide. Bush people liked it, but many others saw it as just raw politics. Listen to New York law professor Larry Kramer.
You know, in my view, we have to obey the court's decision. I mean, there's an orderly process, and we should follow it, but we don't have to respect the opinion, and I don't think we should respect it. It doesn't deserve our respect.
The Republican chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee strongly disagreed, saying the court made the best of a very complicated situation.
And I don't see how anybody could argue very strongly that you should have allowed Dimple Chads to elect the President of the United States.
No one was harder on the court's decision not to allow a recount than the dissenting justices. In scathing language, Justice John Paul Stevens said, "Although we may never know with complete certainty the identity of the winner of this year's presidential election, the identity of the loser is perfectly clear. It is the nation's confidence in the judge as an impartial guardian of the rule of law." Normally, when justices disagree, they sign their opinions with, "I respectfully dissent." Justice Ginsburg ended hers saying only, "I dissent." Law professor and CBS News consultant Jonathan Turley says it is the sharpness of the disagreement that could hurt the court in the future.
Nothing could be more corrosive for the institution of the Supreme Court than its own members suggesting that it's a body of partisans to some extent.
Democratic partisans are already saying the court has made it much harder for Bush to govern.
I think yes, because there will be the asterisk that he assumed the presidency because the Supreme Court refused to allow the voters of Florida's votes to be fully counted. And I think that will be a cloud over the legitimacy of his presidency.
In an odd turn, Justice Clarence Thomas seemed to defend the court against charges of partisanship when he spoke to some area students.
Now, it's the last political act we engage in is confirmation. That is the last act. And I have yet to hear any discussion in 9 years of partisan politics among the members of the court.
In a chance meeting with reporters, Chief Justice Rehnquist said he considered Thomas's remarks absolutely appropriate. Dan.
Bob Schieffer. While the soon-to-be President Bush will soon be in Washington, his running mate Dick Cheney is already there, trying to position his man especially on Capitol Hill. It won't be easy. CBS's Phil Jones reports why.
In his limo en route to the Capitol, Dick Cheney received an intelligence briefing, then began working the congressional corridors to reassure Republicans that the Bush-Cheney team was ready to pick up the pieces and assume leadership. GOP leaders candidly admitted the task ahead will be difficult.
Look, the reality is this was a close, tough election. It went into 3 overtimes. and the court decisions and all that's gone on has made it very difficult.
The arrival of Cheney and Bush may not be all good news for some Republicans, especially the ultra-conservatives, like Republican whip Tom DeLay.
What is a President Bush going to have to say to people like Tom DeLay?
He's going to have to say that I'm the president. I've been elected to lead this country. I can't lead by associating only with a wing of my party.
But these Senate centrists, Republicans and Democrats who held their first meeting a week ago, say this messy election has a clear message.
Unless you do work together, you will do no work at all. I mean, neither side has enough votes to pass the simplest of things.
Democrats, already discouraged because they failed to take back control of the House of Representatives, today had trouble accepting the Supreme Court's ruling that led to Bush's presidential victory.
Those of us who are public servants, we're going to have to try to heal this gash that's been placed upon the American people in our country.
Because of all the acrimony, George W. Bush probably won't have to worry about how long his honeymoon lasts. It may be over before it starts. Phil Jones, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now that the U.S. Supreme Court has basically done it for them, members of Florida's Republican-controlled state Senate dialed back on a vote to ensure Florida's electors for Bush. And as CBS's Byron Pitts reports tonight from Tallahassee, the election battle in Florida will be long remembered for many reasons.
I want to ask you a question, ma'am. Did you vote?
Know.
Did you vote, ma'am?
I voted. Whether or not my vote counted, I don't know.
Did you punch your tab?
I hope I did.
Well, then you got your vote counted.
You know what?
Today in Tallahassee, bitterness lingers and Democrats still believe the election was stolen. But both sides, Democrats and Republicans, concede the system that selected America's newest president is not only old, it's broken.
We need to have a voting system that is accurate, that doesn't intimidate voters. So if a person does go in to cast a vote, they come out of there and their vote gets counted.
In Florida, there are now 5 different voting systems, from the century-old paper ballot in one county to the 60-year-old lever system in others, the now infamous 20-year-old punch card system in 27 counties, and the most accurate, the modern optical scan system used by the majority of counties in Florida.
75% of our results are known 25 minutes after the election is over. I mean, that's incredible. By 8 o'clock, we had all of our results known for the general election.
The optical scan system was 10 times more accurate than the punch card system, which produced 146,000 spoiled or blank ballots statewide.
Reforming the election system in Florida will move to the top of the agenda and probably nationally.
Maybe, but the experts estimate it would cost $2.8 billion to upgrade and put America on one uniform electronic election system. That's as much as a brand new B-2 bomber.
The bottom line is money.
So change will not come quickly, nor will forgiveness.
The Miami Herald newspaper will recount ballots statewide, but at this point it'll simply be a footnote in history. Dan?
Byron Pitts. Next here on CBS, some of the legacy and lessons of the Gore for President campaign.
I don't want to run a marathon. I don't want to go skydiving. I don't want to feel like a kid again, though not feeling ancient would be nice. All I really want is to be able to climb the stairs and give Michael a bath.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for the most common type of arthritis pain, osteoarthritis. One little pill, taken just once a day, can provide 24-hour relief. People with allergic reactions such as asthma to aspirin or other arthritis medicines should not take Vioxx. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, ask your doctor or pharmacist about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain. And you may be able to plan your day around your life instead of your pain. Vioxx for everyday victories.
So I can order HBO, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, 7 of them.
So it's got a pretty clear picture then?
100% digital quality.
Football?
Up to 13 NFL games every Sunday if you want them.
I love you.
I know, sir.
Now get free professional installation when you buy a DirecTV system and sign up for Total Choice programming.
Hi.
Here's my dilemma.
I want to stay invested in technology stocks, but
Lately, I just can't find the time to do the research.
yeah, technology is a hard industry to stay on top
I
of.
mean, is there anything that you have that can help me stay in technology without staying up all night?
Well, the Fidelity Select technology portfolios.
What's that?
Those are managed by analysts that spend all their time focused on that sector. So having our people do the research that you don't have the time to do, that's a good thing.
Solves my problem.
Good.
To invest, call, click, or visit Fidelity.
Hello, America, how are you?
You know, when you eat good, you feel good.
Healthy Choice helps you feel good.
We're both feeling good.
Because eating right makes a difference. And Healthy Choice soups make it deliciously easy with a surprising new taste. Like Southwestern Fiesta Chicken, classic Italian bean and pasta, and the garden seasoned vegetable clam. And because every Healthy Choice soup has the nutrition you need, they help you feel good.
I feel good. Don't I look good?
Healthy Choice. Feel good food.
Tonight's Eye on America focuses on the telling moments, perceptions, and intangibles that, fairly or not, become factors that define a presidential campaign. Take Al Gore's, for instance. CBS News correspondent Eric Ingberg did for this report.
He had 8 years to get ready and the party establishment in his pocket. But at his announcement, his staff put the camera stand in a place where the candidate was hidden by signs.
Today, I announce that I am a candidate for President of the United States.
It was an omen for a campaign where voters couldn't get a clear picture of who Al Gore really was.
Al Gore is a stiff person. He never really got over that.
He tried. He went from blue suits to earth tones. He tried to folksify his headquarters by moving it from D.C. to Nashville. He switched campaign managers. He had formerly been the loyal number 2 defending the impeached Bill Clinton. But after Mr. Clinton wowed the Democratic convention, Gore pushed him to the sidelines, as though it might make the character issue disappear. A mistake, many Democrats think.
They really didn't want to talk about the past 8 years because it meant talking about Bill Clinton and that association. Well, that's sacrificing a lot when you have the greatest economy in several generations.
Gore's selection of Joe Lieberman as a running mate proved to be a home run. And he showed that a kiss can be more than just a kiss, image-wise. But then he stumbled badly.
To read and write and add and subtract.
The first debate and sighs heard round the world made him look arrogant. And some petty overstatements of his own role in events forced a retraction.
And I'm sorry about that. And I'm going to try to do better.
Al Gore wanted a debate about the issues. The debates themselves became more an insight into personal performance.
Gore will be faulted for not seeing the threat from Ralph Nader, who may have cost him Florida. And in a contest where any one state would have made the difference, Gore has to be haunted by one.
Al Gore would be president of the United States right now if he had carried Tennessee, and it's really inexcusable for a candidate not to take his own state.
The Florida fight has left many Democrats seeing Gore as a victim who deserves another chance in 2004. But he won't get it without a fight.
I don't think that other Democrats will stand aside for Al Gore because he had this close call in 2000.
I think the bigger problem that Al Gore will have to overcome is kind of the public sense of frustration about what was a very long and dragged out process of deciding the presidency.
Gore's future presidential hopes may hinge more on the impression he leaves in tonight's speech than anything that's happened up to now. Looking ahead to 2004, he can quote from last night's Supreme Court dissents for arguments on why he deserves another chance. And the phrase, "I won the popular vote," makes a pretty good bumper sticker. In Washington, I'm Eric Ingberg for Eye on America.
On the CBS Market Watch, a high-tech sell-off on Wall Street today. The Nasdaq fell 109 points. The Dow blue chips managed a 26-point gain. Coming up next on tonight's CBS Evening News, voices from the electorate on the end of Campaign 2000.
When it comes to certain questions, answers aren't always clear. Talking to my doctor about PrimPro helped.
Ask your doctor about PrimPro.
I'm glad I did.
The 50-state quarter program is one of the most unique programs our country has ever seen.
Each quarter is a miniature work of art.
If you want to collect them, the Mint has coin sets and maps to help you get started.
If we haven't gotten to your state yet, you can bet that it's coming.
Of a white Christmas.
Some things never change.
Just like the one.
Like the songs that make the holidays so special.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays.
The Time Life Treasury of Christmas, a tradition in millions of homes across America.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
Only Treasury of Christmas brings you all these timeless classics.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
The Time Life Treasury of Christmas, America's best-loved Christmas collection on 2 CDs or 2 cassettes.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas.
You'll get 50 holiday favorites.
Jingle bell, jingle
More than 2 full hours of holiday fun.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, riding down Santa Claus Lane. Silent night.
Each song brings the wonder of Christmas into your home.
Hark the herald angels sing.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart...
So call now and enjoy the Treasury of Christmas for years to come.
To order Treasury of Christmas, call 1-800-663-4224. That's 1-800-663-4224. Or send $19.99 for 2 cassettes plus $3.99 shipping and handling, or $26.99 for 2 CDs plus $4.99 shipping and handling to Treasury of Christmas, Department 5, Richmond, Virginia, 23280.
On the CBS Weather Watch, an advanced look at winter from Texas to the Ohio Valley brought hundreds of canceled flights and impassable highways. Roads are icy across Missouri, and truck traffic stalled after more than a foot of snow fell in Springfield, Missouri, breaking an 83-year-old record for December. And even short trips became ordeals on main Kansas City commuter routes. It's been a long ride home for the crippled USS Cole. A heavy lift transport vessel carried the destroyer today back into the Mississippi shipyard, where it was christened in 1995. The trip from Yemen took 6 weeks. It's expected to take a year and up to $250 million to repair damage from the October 12th terrorist attack that killed 17 U.S. sailors. As Vice President Al Gore prepares to give up the fight for the presidency, many Americans on both sides say they are at least grudgingly willing to let bygones be bygones for the sake of the country. But some others are not in the forgiving mood, as we hear from CBS's Sandra Hughes.
From the sea to shining sea, a collective sigh of relief.
I'm happy for America. I'm happy for all of us. Let's just get on with the business of state.
Thank God it's over.
In California, even Gore supporters say it's time to move on.
I think that it's going to be okay. I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world.
But in Chicago, under all the layers of disgust over the battle itself, there is some bitterness.
I think the people got the wall there, the public.
And there are those in Seattle who say this election will always smell fishy.
When you have a candidate who wins the popular vote and should have won the vote in Florida substantially, but when votes don't count, I don't know how you can call that fairness.
I think this is the worst the voter's been screwed since Rutherford B. Hayes was installed.
Many are looking for ways to forget about the past 36 days, but others want America to remember so it doesn't happen again.
Definitely need to make some changes.
Well, certainly don't ever use those chads. Get rid of the chads totally.
A high-tech solution from near Silicon Valley.
If one thing everybody has is probably a TV, maybe with a remote, like you check out of a hotel, you know, they could put a picture of Gore, boom, I vote for this guy.
A wish for Christmas future, perhaps, but for now, a dose of holiday cheer.
Merry Christmas.
Will have to do. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
I'll be back with some other words about Campaign 2000 when the CBS Evening News continues in just a moment.
every job, there's a hard way. Or there's the Dremel way. The Dremel rotary tool with right angle attachment. Suddenly, nothing seems out of reach. For every problem, there's a Dremel solution.
At Snowball is a great way to tell customers Staples has technology gifts.
Greetings, handhelds make terrific gifts. So do digital cameras.
Nice price. Excuse me, could you tell me about the scanner fax copier?
No.
But I want to get it for my brother.
Get him a cell phone.
No, he really wants one of these.
He can't have her. I love her.
What?
No. Weeping.
It's okay. You found just someone else.
Oh.
For technology gifts they really want, it's Staples.
If it isn't purple, it isn't Prilosec. Isn't it Prilosec time for you? Ask your doctor about the purple pill they call Prilosec.
You probably know, as it's often been stated, giving holiday gifts can be quite complicated. The post office is where you should go, no doubt. You can pack up your stuff and ship it on out. Get last-minute gifts if you've got a late start. Even rush them away to arrive Christmas Day, in case you've had a sudden change of heart.
Fly like an eagle.
The buzz on the floor? A buying frenzy has erupted in the automotive sector. It's putting pressure on sellers and stock levels may begin to tumble. This year-end sell-off was sparked by Buick's announcement of an additional $500 holiday bonus on select 2001 Buicks, bringing total cash back offers up to $1,500. The holiday bonus is creating fast and furious action as the Buick year-end sell-off roars on. It certainly seems to be a buyer's market.
Hey, where have you gone with your pledge grabbing?
Up and down and under and in.
My kitchen floor, underneath the table. Pledge grab it. It's good for like the hard to reach places. You never can get up in those corners.
Oh my gosh, this is great, but it reaches that far.
Pledge grab it. Picked up a lot of cobwebs and dust. It could get under my couch.
Grab it! This is nice that this fits under my stove.
Sometimes it's months before I get way back here. Wow, look at that. Grabs the dirt, picks it right up.
S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Grab it!
I picked up a whole lot of dirt.
Coming up tonight at 6 in Rutherford County, it's a driver's dream. They're placing cameras on street corners to let drivers know about conditions. We'll have more at 6.
It will go down in history as the disputed election of 2000 and the first ever decided by justices of the Supreme Court. And it's been a wake-up call for the world's oldest democracy. Our system of casting and counting ballots needs an overhaul. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. It's ironic we survived the Y2K bug many feared would cause high-tech computer chaos. Instead, the country was thrown into turmoil by the low-tech, lousy machine called Votomatic. Long after the bug is forgotten, the Chad will live in infamy. But as the institutions of our government come under scrutiny, we may do well tonight to recall the words of President Harry Truman. No government is perfect, he said, but one of the chief virtues of a democracy is that its defects are always visible and under democratic processes can be pointed out and corrected if we have the will. And that's part of our world tonight. I'll be back at 9 Eastern Time with Vice President Gore's address to the nation, and again at 10 when you'll hear from President-elect Bush. For now, Dan Rather reporting for the CBS Evening News. I'll see you later tonight.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Who will the big players be in the Bush administration tomorrow? Experience CBS News.
Coming up on News Channel 5 at 6, the Supreme Court has made a decision that left little room for any more recounting in Florida, and that could mean the end of Al Gore's presidential chances.
We'll head to Carthage to get a reaction to the decision in the vice president's hometown.
Plus, the ruling seems to point to victory for George W. Bush. Are they celebrating in Austin? Stay tuned for the latest out of Texas. The news is right here, right now.
From the News Channel 5 Network. This is News Channel 5 at 6, your news and information leader.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Clark.
And I'm Vicki Yates.
Almost 24 hours after a ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court, Vice President Al Gore will address the nation tonight at 8 o'clock. Terry Okita tells us he's expected to explain why he fought so hard and so long.
5 weeks after the election and 2 years after his presidential bid began,
I am a candidate for President of the United States.
Vice President Al Gore has, by all accounts, decided to end